Good afternoon, everyone. I want to call to order this afternoon's meeting of the Senate Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections. Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Senator Daley.
Here.
Senator Cannizzaro.
Here.
Senator Severs-Gansert. Here. Senator Krasner.
Here.
And Chair Orenshaw.
Present. And Secretary, if you'll please note that all members are present. We do have a quorum. I'd like to welcome everyone to our first meeting this session of the Senate Committee on Legislative Operations. And that includes our teleconference down to the Sawyer Building in Las Vegas. My name is James Orenshaw. I represent State Senate District 21 and been very fortunate to serve on the Legislative Operations and Elections Committee in the Senate since I was first elected to the Senate in 2018. And I also was fortunate to serve on the Legislative Operations and Elections Committee in the Assembly every session I served in the Assembly. So I care a lot about these issues, and I'm very fortunate to be able to work on these issues and appreciate my caucus giving me the opportunity to work on these elections issues that are so important to so many of our constituents. I do want to invite our committee members to introduce themselves and provide any comments they'd like. If I could start with our Vice Chair, Senator Daley, then the Majority Leader, then the Minority Leader, and then Senator Krasner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Skip Daley. Actual first name is Richard, but I go by Skip. First term in the Senate, did spend time in the Assembly, 4 terms actually, and served on the Legislative Operations and Elections Committee in the Assembly, 3 of those 4 terms. So I care a lot about these issues too. I served 2 times with James, the chairman, over on the Assembly side, and happy to be here on this committee and looking forward to doing some good work. So thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Nicole Cannizzaro. I represent Senate District 6, which is in the northwest portion of the Las Vegas Valley. This will be my 4th session on this committee. I have served as the chair of Legislative Operations and Elections and also the I believe I served as the vice chair of Legislative Operations and Elections. I've been on this committee every session I've been in this legislature, so I love these issues and excited for this session. And I know that, Mr. Chair, you're going to do a great job in leading us through all of the really interesting things that we actually get to do on this committee. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm Senator Heidi Severs-Gansert. I represent District 15, which is the west side of Reno. I was able to serve on Assembly Leg Ops for 3 different sessions, and now this is my 4th session as a senator serving on Legislative Operations and Elections, and I'm happy to be here, and I enjoy also looking at these topics, digging through these topics, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am Senator Lisa Krasner. I proudly represent State Senate District 16. I served for 3 regular sessions and 3 special sessions in the Nevada Assembly, and now I am proud to serve in the Nevada State Senate, and I'm looking forward to working together with our chairman and all of the members of this committee to create high-quality legislation for all the people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, members. And I think I've served on either the Senate or Assembly Elections Committee with every member here except for Senator Krasner, and we served in the Assembly together on Judiciary Committee, but I don't believe we served on the Elections Committee. And we're very lucky to have the Majority Leader, past chair of the Senate Committee here, and Minority Leader and Senator Daley. Next, I'd like to introduce our committee staff. We've got really tremendous, fantastic committee staff here assisting us. To my right, Nicholas Anthony is our policy analyst. He's also our director of the research division. I have been lucky enough to work with Mr. Anthony through the years in many different capacities, and boy, just tremendous knowledge, and someone who will try to make sure he answers any member's questions. So members, if you have any questions on any election issues, he, I think will, my experience is he won't stop till he gets you the answer you're looking for, the information you need. So I really cannot thank LCB and thank Mr. Anthony, Director Anthony, for being willing to help us. I've been able to work with him in the interim, and it's just tremendous that you're here helping us. Mr. Fernley is our legal counsel, and it's been a great experience getting to work with him, and just tremendous knowledge. I would have to say his knowledge of the NRS, I call it encyclopedic. I know some people don't like it when I use that term, but I think that that's fitting for Mr. Fernley. Our committee manager, and my friend Ann Stanley, she'll be preparing agendas, uploading exhibits to Nellis, interfacing with the front desk and the Secretary of the Senate, and trying to make sure I stay on track and don't veer off track or go too late and keep everyone too late. So I'm very lucky that Ann came back for another tour of duty. We worked together last session after our prior committee manager, Pat Hudson, decided to retire and not come back. And we always think of Pat, and we love Pat, and but Ann and I are a great team, and it's been great working with you, Ann. Thank you for coming back and working here on the committee and working with me. Also, been very lucky to work with Diane Ray and Barbara Young, our committee secretaries. They'll be attending all our meetings, preparing the minutes, and assisting us in a variety of tasks as they come up. So I'm so lucky that you came back for another tour of duty and volunteered to get to work on the elections committee, on these issues. So thank you very much, Diane and Barbara. One thing I'd like to move on to now is we need to approve the committee rules. The proposed rules have been posted on Nellis. Members should also have a hard copy in front of them. So if members have any questions about the rules, I'm happy to answer them now. And if I can't answer the questions, I could reach out to Director or to Mr. Fernley for answers. But if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask. If not, I would accept a motion to adopt the committee rules. I have a motion from Vice Chair Daley. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from Senator Krasner. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Members, please, Secretary, note that passed unanimously in terms of adopting the rules. In addition to the adoption of the committee rules, I'd like to provide some general reminders. Our committee meetings will begin promptly at 3:30 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If there might be run over from earlier committees that might push us a little bit late, but our goal is to definitely try to start at 3:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays and not keep anyone waiting. If any members are running late, please let staff know as early as possible, and we'll try to bring you up to speed when you get back. If members have to leave the meeting, please let me or staff know, and please let us know when you'll return if possible. Committee members, of course, we would like everyone to be courteous to each other and to witnesses. Some of the issues, we discuss, can generate a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of emotions, but we want to create an atmosphere of professionalism and respect. We want to ask everyone to mute laptops and turn off cell phones to make sure that there's no interference with the recordings that our secretaries make the transcripts from. The public is advised that during meetings, legislators and staffs are using laptops to view bills and exhibits. Please do not think that this is a sign of inattention or disrespect. It's part of the legislative process now in this era. Please note that we will be requiring everyone to submit exhibits in an electronic format the day before the meeting. A few reminders about testifying before the committee. Please, if you're here in Carson City, sign in at the table by the door, or if you're at the Sawyer Building, please sign in at the table by the door. There should be a sign-in sheet. If you brought a business card, please give it to the committee secretary prior to testifying. Even if you are not planning to testify, you may want to sign in so that there is a record that you attended and are interested in a particular bill in case the committee wants to contact you later. Usually on the sign-in sheets, you can mark whether you're in favor of the bill or against it, or if you're neutral on that bill. If you do have handouts for the committee, you'll be asked to provide 20 hard copies to the committee secretary for use by the public. At the end of each meeting, we will be taking public comment. Due to time constraints, there may need to be a time limit on public comment for each speaker. If so, and you run out of time, please feel free to provide your full comments in writing to the committee secretary so that they may be added to the record. I, and I believe all the other members, certainly do read these comments. So if you don't have time to say everything you want during the limited public comment period, please do submit that in writing. Are there any questions, members, about any of the rules? No. Well, if not, then I'd like to turn it over to Director Anthony, who's going to present our committee policy brief, and that should be up on Nellis, and there are hard copies here in the room in Carson City, if anyone wants to look over that brief. And members should have a copy at their desk. Director Anthony.
Thank you very much, Chair Orenshaw. I am Nick Anthony of the Research Division of the Legislative Council Bureau, the nonpartisan staff. It's my privilege to be staff to this Senate Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections for this 2023 session. I've staffed Judiciary a number of sessions, but this is the first time serving on Senate LO&E, and I'm very excited. So thank you all for the opportunity. Before you all, the committee members should have a committee brief in writing and in Nellis, and also a secondary document which lists a number of key contacts that you might find beneficial as you complete your work this session on this committee. By way of introduction, as the chair referenced, Brian Fernley will be legislative counsel, but I also wanted to point out assisting Mr. Fernley will be Jeff Coulomé, so he might be in committee as well. The jurisdiction of the committee is listed in the committee brief. Historically, this committee has looked at various election topics, ethics in government, any reforms to the Nevada Legislature and the provisions of NRS governing the legislative body. Major issues considered in 2021, you'll note a table there. It shows the total number of bills and resolutions received and voted out by this committee last session. I won't run through those numbers, but they're there for your consideration, as well as a list of all the topics this body considered last session, including a number of constitutional amendments and ballot issues. Two of those ballot issues did go before the general election, and they both passed as ballot question 1 and ballot question 2 this past general election, so those are now in effect and part of the Constitution. Additionally, an initiative petition was brought forward by the people. That was brought to the voters last general election. It requires ranked choice voting and open primaries and generals. It did pass by a vote of the people. It would go back again for another vote at the next general election in 2024, and any changes would then be made in the 2025 legislature before it'd take effect in the year 2026. You'll see in the handout, the committee brief, there were 4 bills that were vetoed last session that will be brought back and may be called up for a vote this session. There was one bill that actually went through this committee. That was AB 65 relating to ethics. As you all are aware, the 2021 special session largely dealt with redistricting. That was completed the fall of 2021 based on the census. There was then a 2021-2022 Joint Interim Standing Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections, which was new as a result of AB 443 from the last legislative session. During the interim, that committee looked at a number of issues relating to elections, ethics, and the like. That committee has recommended 4 BDRs that most likely will be coming before this body at some point during the session. One of those BDRs relates to voting machines, one relating to voting by members of tribal nations, one relating to voting for members of the community that may have disabilities, and then one revising the interim committee structure. You'll see on the next page, these are the bills that so far have been pre-filed within the jurisdiction and may be coming before the Committee on Legislative Operations. Those are listed there for you, both the Senate bills and Assembly bills that are in the other house. And again, anticipated topics for 2023 legislative session, voter registration, elections generally, ethics, state personnel, legislative operations are kind of the highlights there. Also want to throw out that the Research Division has a number of publications and resources relating to elections that are available online and in print. A few are listed there on the last page, page 7 of your handout. If you ever need any background information or one-page handouts kind of explaining the voting process in Nevada, please feel free to reach out to the Research Division staff. And just want to let you know, Mr. Chair and members of the committee, I'm always available. If you should have any questions, please feel free to email myself or anybody on the Research Division staff, and we can assist in any manner. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'd be pleased to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Director Anthony. I really appreciate all your hard work and the work of everyone in the Research Division providing this information for the committee, the members, and our constituents. Members, any questions for Director Anthony? Okay, well, thank you very much. Really appreciate that presentation. And our final point of business today is public comment. And public comment is available 3 ways today, either here in the committee room in Carson City, or down at the Sawyer Building in Las Vegas, or if anyone is on the phone lines. So I'll start down in Las Vegas. I see someone there. Do you wish to make public comment? And I think please state your name for the record and please proceed, sir.
Name is Matthew Tramp of Las Vegas, and I'd like to discuss the issue. Again, I've spoken in a previous session about the appointment system when there's a vacancy for legislators or any partisan offices. I do not like this appointment system. For example, when legislators are vacancies and the county commission makes the decision. In previous meetings, they have actually even discussed that they do not want the responsibility of this. Right now, you've got 2 people serving in the legislation in both the Senate, one of each in the Senate and the Assembly, that were not elected by the people. Now, obviously, one option is going to be special elections, but I understand that that's costly. And I mentioned in previous sessions before, there is a alternative to taxpayer-funded elections. An example, what they do in Kansas. The legislator, whatever party they belong to, the central committee members from that party have a meeting, the chairman calls, and then they elect a person to represent. This way, at least the people in the district for that represents them get to make that decision, not being decided by another outside group. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tramp. Thank you for sharing your opinion. Anyone else down at the Sawyer Building in Las Vegas? I didn't see anyone. I'll come back to Carson City. Is there anyone who wishes to make public comment? BPS, is there anyone on the phone lines who wishes to make public comment?
Thank you so much, Chair. The public line is open and working. However, there are no callers at this time.
All right, well, thank you very much, BPS. And members, unless there are any other comments members have to make, we'll adjourn and I'll see everyone on Thursday.